there, Jets fans. Welcome to episode number 68 of the JetStream podcast. I am Travis Rubinik. Today is March 22nd. I'm here with Joe Clark and Neil Noonan. It's deep into March, boys. March Madness is in full swing. Premier League has got its madness going on itself. Disappointing Liverpool loss today.
Let's not go there. Sensitive territory.
Yeah, a little sensitive.
Stupid Steven Gerrard.
Gotta say, though.
I love you, but
Yeah.
I hate you.
But that... We were tweeting about this, ironically.
Yes.
About how it's amazing that something can happen in a soccer game and they don't instantly just start punching each other in the face.
It's crazy how that works.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And somehow it still works.
A guy could stomp on someone's ankle
Yeah.
and no one threw a punch.
Yeah. He got... You know what's crazy is he committed this transgression and then was immediately...
Kicked out of the game. Whoa!
And then he's just gone.
And then it was over.
And then it was over and done. And then that was it. And then now he'll probably get supplemental discipline afterwards because that's how it works. And you know what? The FA, the Football Association, who runs the disciplinary stuff with the Premier League, they're a freaking shit show of an organization, of a governing body. Believe me.
Well, isn't FIFA a gong show as a whole?
Well, that's separate from the FA. FIFA's the worst, corruption and whatever. We're not going to get into that. But the FA is a separate governing body just for England. The professional leagues in England, and they're a shit show.
Yeah.
And somehow they can figure out the fact of discipline and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And supplemental whatever.
Without fistfights.
Without bare knuckle boxing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works.
And somehow, the stars are still alive. And
yeah.
I mean, how are you supposed to stand up for your teammates if you can't punch them in the face, Travis?
I know.
How? If you can't punch your opponents in the face, how are you supposed to stand up for your teammates?
I just don't think it's possible.
Not possible.
It's not possible.
I think you're right.
It really isn't.
That's
why hockey is the only sport where there's actual athletes and men
you're
playing,
right?
right?
No, everybody else is just
it's the only one, right?
Yeah.
It's the only one.
Huge wimp.
Yeah. That's why they're the most popular sport, right?
Exactly.
That's why they make the most money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they never have to lock their players out or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are the only true men.
Yep, it's very true.
Because they punch each other in the face.
Exactly. You're very right. You're very right.
Had to get that off my chest.
You know what's a great way to start a hockey podcast?
Talking about how dumb hockey is.
Talk about how stupid hockey is.
How very interesting.
Listeners will really appreciate that.
We should do that every time.
We really should.
Yep.
Speaking of our listeners, shout out to Andrew Campbell at Victory4201 on Twitter.
Yes.
Who was having a very good day yesterday.
No kidding.
Because the Jets won.
He was on cloud 9.
Yeah. The Panthers won. The Sens won. So he bought us all coffee.
Yeah.
Which is excellent. So
Fuck yeah, bud.
thank you, Andrew. You are creeping very close to Pity as our favorite listener.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
I mean,
Pity you got competition. Let's
I mean, Pity I think is still on top. I'm pretty sure Pity's still dominating our fantasy hockey pool. So
is he? I haven't even looked at that one for so long.
I haven't looked at it in a while. Sorry,
I'm probably last.
I'm pretty sure a bunch of guys in the I'm pretty sure Taylor Hall has still been in my starting lineup ever since he's been out for like a month and a half. But
oh well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, sorry guys, I kind of dropped the ball on that one. But you know what? I put a lot of commitment and time into this podcast.
Yep.
And I don't let this suffer for fantasy hockey.
There you go.
I just can't.
You got your priorities straight.
Yeah. Plus, I'm kicking ass in my March Madness bracket right now. So
yeah.
My lead.
Which at this point just means you know nothing about basketball because you picked all the upsets.
No, that's not true. I did not pick all the upsets. I just have my Elite 8 is still in there because I picked the right upsets.
That's rare.
That's still amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself
I'm
right
impressed.
now.
I'm looking at my bracket now. I am... I'm awful. Oh god, I can't even do the math right now. But nowhere close to you.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased.
After the first set of games, there was like something like
0.7% of brackets were still perfect.
0.7% of brackets were still good.
Yeah, that was madness. I mean, I'm not even close to perfect. My Elite 8 is still
That's
together.
pretty dang good.
Yeah. Like, most of my Sweet 16... no, there's like 3 of my Sweet 16 guys are already gone. My Elite 8's still perfect, so... The early games kind of boned me in certain respects, but I'm still going strong, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyways, Andrew, you're the best. Even though you're a Sens fan, I hate you.
Thanks, buddy.
And I'm glad that you can enjoy teams winning, because I really don't know what that's like most of the time. But yeah, speaking of the Ottawa Senators, they're still winning hockey games.
Yeah.
Continuing their push, and where else should we really start? This wonderful episode of the JetStream podcast with goaltending. And Andrew Hammond, and the wonderfulness he is, and Andre Pavlik, and all this thing.
The anti-science that is goaltending.
Yes. It was so fitting earlier this week. I making some dinner, making some crepes. You enjoyed some of those crepes. Made crepes on Thursday. Yep. It was good.
Let me tell you, Travis has a couple talents, but I think the crepes, those were like probably the most impressive thing that I've witnessed from you.
Well, not the podcast that you're
No.
on every week or
No.
anything, but those crepes.
not your master's degree that you're working on, not your university degree, not any of this
Not
stuff.
your beard.
Not this, not all that regular stuff. None of that. But those
crepes.
crepes.
Tell me about these crepes. So
They
are
were
fruit
quite
filled,
good. Yeah,
or-
no, he made.
Yeah?
This is pretty ridiculous, actually.
That's what happens when I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, no,
That's fair,
and I just texted him out of nowhere. I can't remember what I was asking you. I was going to ask him.
You asked me if we were watching the Jets game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because the whole thing was you were going to ask me
Yeah.
if you were going to go to
Here's-
the gym. And if you
Travis-
would have said yes to that, none of this would have happened.
Travis and I have like such a weird mind game going on when it comes to going to the gym because like lots of the time we're both thinking we don't want to go, but we'll only go if the other guy wants to go.
Yeah.
So it's like a chess match in our brains to figure out like who's gonna ask first.
Yeah.
And like so I was thinking, if Travis wants to go to the gym, then I'll go. So I figured I'd text him and see what he's doing. And if he says, I'm not doing anything, want to go to the gym, then I'll be like, yeah, perfect, let's go to the gym. He was thinking, oh man, I'm totally not going to go to the gym unless Joe texts me asking to go to the gym.
Yep.
I text him saying, hey, what's going on? And then
You text me saying Jets game?
oh yeah, Jets game.
Just to
And
see
then
what my answer would be.
And then he saw that it was me and he was like, oh shit, Joe's going to ask me to go to the gym. And then
Because I was like just getting started to make crepes.
and then he's just like, I'm making some crepes with apple filling if you want to come over and watch the Jets game. I was like, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Fuck the gym.
Yeah. It went from potentially going to the gym to I decided because I was kind of bored. I was like, I don't want to eat the same old thing for dinner. I was like, what do I really want? Then I remembered a guy I used to work with used to come to work all the time on Fridays or like random days a week with pancakes for lunch they'd made the night before. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that. But then I have to make pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with pancakes are great. I think they're a little overrated though. Like I prefer French toast personally. But pancakes are they're thick, right? And they're filling and it's just too much sometimes. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make crepes.
Really, really thin pancakes.
Yeah, really thin pancakes with like less flour, and they were like, there's so much milk in crepes. I was blown away.
Yeah. How do you think they get so thin?
I guess
Yeah,
that's
exactly. There's so much milk.
with pancakes, more flour, less milk, and then with crepes, more milk, less flour.
Yeah,
Interesting ratios.
Yeah.
it is.
It's like
It's almost that's how baking works. It's weird.
Yeah.
I heard it's a science.
Or baking, kind of.
Is
it baking?
Sure, why not? Let's just call it.
Kind of frying.
Yeah, let's call it baking.
Anyways, so yeah, I decided to make some crepes, some cinnamon crepes with this like apple cinnamon topping stuff. That was
Oh
just
my
a little bit of
goodness.
icing sugar in there.
some syrup.
Some syrup. Oh yeah. No, I had already eaten dinner even before I went.
But that's still a good dessert.
And
right?
yeah, well that's the thing.
He
Is
got
like
kind of pissed.
It was like
I ate way too many.
Yeah, it was like a second. It turned into like a second dinner because I had one and I was like, well, that was super good. So I had one more, and then I proceeded to have like 4 more after that. And I was like, my stomach hurts.
I was like, well, you ate a lot of crepes,
Yeah.
Joe.
I was
So
like,
it's
that
a
was
good
just
thing
a-
I made like 30 of these things for
Yeah.
like 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it turned out pretty well. How did we get on that topic? Okay, yeah, Thursday night. Watch it. Making crepes, ready to watch some hockey.
There we go.
So,
All right, Thursday night.
yes, Oklahoma won. That's another Sweet 16 team through.
Eat a dick, Travis.
Yeah.
Go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Excuse me, I'm a Leaf fan.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Very true.
You deserve all you get.
Yeah, in every other sport. Except for the Packers, apparently this year. So yeah, making those crepes, prepping everything, getting all ready to go. And that's Hockey Tonight comes on. I'm thinking, you know what? 9 times out of 10, this is when I instantly change the channel. But I'm going to let it go this time because my hands are covered in stuff. So, TV's on. What do they open with? But Andrew Hammond.
Of course.
Great goalie. Oh, he's got all this confidence. This guy's going to have a great career, blah, 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 blah. He's going on a great stretch. Lots of crap being said. Like, fine. Yeah, the guy's playing great. I'm not taking away from him. Go from that instantly to Andre Pavlik.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's turned it around finally. He's the guy the Jets need, all this stuff. And I just couldn't help but laugh at how hilarious it was that just right off the hop.
Oh, yeah.
They open with back-to-back stories of 2 goaltenders riding some amazing hot streaks that just propels the amazingness of hot takes.
Oh, yeah. The
hot Take Central.
Oh, so hot.
Oh,
Like on fire. Those takes are
like
like
scorching.
Yeah, scorching.
Scorching
Like
hot.
fucking molten.
Like if I would have left a crepe on the pan
Yeah.
for like 20 minutes.
And then just taking one of those takes, put it underneath.
Yeah, and put it underneath
Yeah.
while the fire was just blazing.
Oh, yeah. It would have been cooked right up.
That's where those storylines were
Burnt to
hidden,
a crisp.
right in the middle. But yes. God, this show is just taking a
It's been a great
weird
start, guys,
Yeah,
for
really
sure.
good.
Yeah,
Really
anyways, 2 apparently great goalies who, again, yay, fantastic. Oh,
Awesome.
Andre Pavlik's amazing again. That are going to lead their teams to the playoffs. And
Which they very well could.
They very well could, and that's just it. I don't want to take anything away from Pavlik right now.
Or Hammond.
And we'll get to Hammond a bit more in a second because he's taken a bit of a downturn recently. And the whole hamburger thing is hilarious. I love that. And eating burgers off the ice is hilarious.
Kirill Cesar is just like... He just seems like such a happy guy, you know? Like
he's so happy to be in the NHL.
Yeah, I got that impression from him in the World Juniors too. He just seems like he's just so happy to be there that he just doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with... let's talk about the Sens a little bit. That's the thing with the Sens right now is they've been so benefited by their injuries. Like guys like Chris Neal aren't playing, and like all these guys are dragging them down, get hurt, and they're kind of forced to put these other guys in who are great possession guys, never would have got the chance otherwise. Yeah. And they're showing what they're worth. And look at what's happening. And I'm interested to see if they make the playoffs, which I think...
Right now, they have a better percentage chance of making it than Boston.
Oh, exactly.
Boston just lost tonight.
Follow at Ineffective Math.
Yeah.
He tweets out probabilities all the time. It's more than just like, it's more than just win-loss and points percentage. It takes in effect Corsi and goaltending factors sometimes and removes it and actually does math behind those percentages really well.
Yeah.
He's actually had the Jets at like above 60% chance of making it most of the time. So... Anyways, give him a follow, but yeah, he's got them above the Bruins right now, and
it's by like a percentage or 1 or 2%,
which should jump because the Bruins
just
it was
lost.
going to be a huge drop with their loss today. So, anyways, it's great. That's going to be a great storyline. But back to Pavlik for a second.
Sure.
Again, I don't want to take anything away from him. He's played great.
Absolutely.
These last few games.
You cannot. It is impossible to refute that he has not played well.
Exactly. But we've seen this before. Yeah. We've had this exact conversation, like, on this podcast. It's only been around for like a year and a half. Yeah. We've only had 68 episodes, and I bet you at least like 20 of those have stated the words, Andre Pavlik's been playing great, but we've seen this before. Mm-hmm. At least 20 of them we've had to have said that at this point.
It's going to be close to 20, yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah.
Garrett even tweeted yesterday, this is only the 9th best 5-game stretch in his career.
Oh, wow.
He's played even better.
He's been even
this
better
before.
10 times he's been better than this.
And what's happened at every other time?
It's funny because people always ask me, especially when Pavlik goes on a hot streak, he's like, oh, he's playing really well. Maybe this is...
Turnaround.
Maybe he's turned it around, whatever. I'm just like, hey, goalies don't get better with age.
It could happen, though. It could,
yes. Anything is possible.
Tim Thomas.
Anything is possible. But, also, how long did that last?
To get a Stanley Cup out of it.
Yeah, but anyways.
No, I know what you mean.
They just, for the most part, they just don't get better with age. So why would you think that a guy who has been mediocre, subpar to mediocre his entire career, all of a sudden when he just gets to that point where I think goalies are their prime, 25, 26?
The thing is, that's even in question. Because a lot of times goalies don't get a good shot beforehand. Because everyone thinks, he's a rookie, blah, blah, blah. When numbers, we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they are just great from the... You don't know.
Yeah.
You can't tell. So, look at Hutch beginning of this year. You don't know because they don't get the chance. And for all we know, it's possible.
This is why goaltending is anti-science.
It's voodoo.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, there's a very low chance that all of a sudden he became an above-average goalie.
Yeah, there is. Yes, Pavlik has played great of late. Yep. Yes, as of right now, he actually has a better save percentage on the year. He's got a .916 right now than Hutchinson does on the year. He's at .913. Yes, right now, Andre Pavlik, ready for this, he's prepared right now to post the best single-season save percentage of his career since 2005-2006 QMJHL season for the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles.
That's so sad.
This is the best he's ever played.
And that's
over a single season.
And that's a .916.
Yes.
That's really sad.
And that's just it. You can't help but feel like this is going to once again drop off. I hope it doesn't. For the Jets' sake, I hope it doesn't.
And let's give, for a second, let's just pretend we'll give Andre Pavlik the benefit of the doubt here and say maybe this Jets team right now is the best team that he's played behind.
Yeah, you could probably argue that.
QMJHL team.
Yeah, you could probably argue that.
Which is a hilarious argument to make.
Although you could even argue that AHL team in Chicago is better.
Oh, yeah, probably.
They did want to call it.
That's very true.
But again,
they probably would have handled those.
This is probably the best NHL team he's played behind.
Yes, I think that's a fairly safe bet.
But again, maybe it's the extra rest. Maybe it's the extra rest. It's
nothing but resting. Maybe it's watching.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's the threat of losing his job, and it's motivated him to somehow become good.
This is the first time he's had anything even close to somebody taking the starting job.
Oh, exactly. But to this extreme for that to happen, I just don't. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should. And there are, like, there's always going to be your Twitter trolls sitting there saying, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Fine. But then as soon as the funny thing with those people that sit there and say, oh, yeah, and they rub it in, like, my face and Arby's face and all these guys who are like, blah, blah, blah. We very rarely, I don't scan Arby's Twitter feeds. I don't know if he does this and I just don't see it. It's very rarely that when this happens, we go right back to him and be like, now what?
Yeah.
And I think we just make the statements and they take that as personal attacks on them while they're just straight up saying, oh, I knew it. Look at you suck. Oh, what's going on now, buddy? It's like, well...
And it's going to keep going back and forth.
All the time. It will.
Sometimes you'll be right, sometimes they'll be right, because he'll play good, then he'll play bad. He'll play good, then he'll play bad. The only people who are going to be always right are the people who say he's going to have his hot streaks and he's going to have his downturns. And the downturns are going to be more than likely longer than the hot streaks.
But then we're just seen as covering our asses when that's what it is.
It's just
look at it.
How it is.
It's how sports work.
Yeah.
You have your hot streaks, your cool streaks. It's a very common thing, and it's a very fitting time of year to bring this up, with basketball. You could look at basketball and how a game of basketball works. The thing with basketball is there's so much scoring in it that it can really... One basketball game can really summarize a lot of things in that there's so much going on in a single game, so much scoring in basketball that it almost always just works out that the better team on that night wins because there's so many ebbs and flows. Basketball, as many things in life, is a game of runs. You're going to get hot, you're going to get cold. And it's generally the team that can stay hot longer because they're better and diminish their cold spells or play out of their cold spells or do something better to limit what's going on during their cold spells that wins.
And that's the difference between being good and bad.
And think of that with any athlete. Yeah. You're going to have your hot streaks. You're going to have your cold streaks. The players who have the long, elongated, very, very good for a long period of time hot streaks and the shorter, not so damaging cold streaks
are the best players.
Yeah.
And when your cold streaks are longer than your hot streaks, you're not that great.
Or when your hot streaks aren't that good and your cold streaks are really, really, really bad.
Also that.
You're not that good.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's what it's been like with Pavlik for however many years he's been in the NHL now. And I'm not convinced that, just because of when it's happening and the circumstances behind it. Personally, I would give Ondrej Pavlik a hell of a lot of credit in the fact that all of this is coming off that goal in St. Louis. That, to me, is the most impressive thing of this all, is that this is coming off of what was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him. Yeah. And in a lot of circumstances, I think you see that happen to a goalie who's already faced a lot of shit this year, has been in a serious downturn, and that could have just been it. Like, that could have been the final pushing part. A lot of people are talking, okay, this is now, he's done. He's done. Like, you don't recover from that.
Yeah.
And full credits Ondrej Pavlik for this kind of hot streak coming off of that, because that, I don't care if you're a professional athlete or anything, if that happens to you, that's tough. Imagine putting in a decent performance at your job, but you just blew something huge. Like, you were given a performance and you rocked that performance, and then in the middle of your performance, you're just like, fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Right at the end of your presentation, and you lose a contract because of it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to bounce back at work the next day and just kick ass the next thing you do? Like, that's tough.
Yep.
So, credit to Pavlik for that, but that's all I can really say out of this is, maybe he's mentally tougher than we thought.
Maybe.
I guess it kind of have to be to deal with the shit he's dealt with for the last few years.
Yep.
But I'm not convinced this is who he is as a goalie. And, hey, this was actually something we had in our worst case scenario, was Ondrej Pavlik having the best year of his career, having a great season, turning out to not be that bad.
If it gets him into the playoffs, then that's pretty good.
And I think that's probably where, personally, I went wrong on that, is I didn't think the Jets would, as a team, would be good enough.
Yeah, for him to be having a good season, bring him into the playoffs.
And I think I kind of underestimated how that effect would be, because all we've ever really needed from Pavlik was to be league average. And right now he's just above league average on the year. So,
it just so happens that everything else is coming together as well, special teams, whatever.
Because, like, let's not overlook the fact that the Jets are playing great right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing... They dominated St. Louis. They shut down the Caps for the most part last night. They're playing good hockey. Mark Stewart is scoring goals, for Christ's sake.
Goal.
Whatever. He's scoring, which is amazing.
He had one in the first game, and then this one. Is that correct? I think he has 2 on the year.
Yeah. 2 on the year. Yeah.
Goals.
Hey, it's something. And honestly, should they hold on, and if guys get healthy, and if this streak can hold on, And if Paul Maurice isn't afraid to go back to Hutch and Hutch plays well, because that's I think the key thing here is Paul Maurice can't just. He was very quick to pull out Hutch when things started really going bad, and Pavlik showed some signs. So I think if he's quick to switch back, fine, that's great.
And if
Keep going with
Pavlik stays hot, ride it.
Exactly, and if he can, and if the guys are doing well,
Yep.
I wouldn't want to face the Jets in the first round, and that's likely going to be the Ducks, and that's going to be a hell of a series.
That will be a great series.
But still, and honestly, I'd rather take if you can get the Ducks in the first round. I'd rather end up playing the winner of Vancouver and Calgary in the second round
Yeah,
than
that's true.
the winner of who would it be? Nashville and the winner of Nashville, St. Louis, or Chicago.
Yeah, no thank you.
I'd rather play Vancouver or Calgary.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I'd like to take that route.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, I don't know.
Although the Ducks, I mean...
The Ducks are a good team, and
That's
obviously that's not an optimal first
Yeah,
round.
no,
pick.
that's like the worst.
But I mean,
yes.
if you're looking past them,
Yeah.
let's say you do win that first round, which I think they could. That's
It's
just
too,
it. Like,
that's a winnable series.
they've beaten Chicago a bunch this year. They've
beaten-
been competitive against Nashville. They've been competitive against St. Louis. They beat St. Louis.
They've beaten every good team.
They have. So, have they beaten Nashville?
Yeah.
Did they?
Now I'm drawing a blank. I think they did.
Neil, can you look that up? See if the Jets have beaten Nashville
What's
this
their
year?
head-to-head with Nashville?
Sure.
But yeah,
They totally beat Nashville. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they have.
okay, keep
But
going.
if you can pull off a win against Anaheim, who again, they're a great team. But if you can win a series, that second round is a bit easier, in my opinion, than going through the Central.
Beat them on the 7th
There you
of
go.
March.
There you
There you go.
That was
It was
not
like
that
less
long
than a month ago.
Yeah, I feel like I had remembered that.
Way to go,
You guys
Travis.
have a Jets podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jets podcast and short memories.
Yep. Pretty much. But I mean, yeah, like look at what's already happened to Andrew Hammond. Last two games, he had an 880 against the Leafs, an 886 against the Bruins. So even your golden boy of Hammond.
Wow. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because it's like talking about Andre Pavlik and how he's been subpar to mediocre his whole career. Andrew Hammond has been I think he was even worse career-wise.
He's been nothing career.
Yeah.
Like, he has just had no glimpses of
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and is posting like 960s and 970s and
the
shutouts
NHL.
in the NHL. And people are like, oh, this guy's amazing. It's like, he's hot.
Yeah. But like you said last week, it's more than just Hammond, right? Like,
Oh, of course.
The Sens have been a solid team.
Yes, they've been playing a lot better.
And I love the whole story behind it.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
Like, it's that if that can happen, I think Myrtle tweeted out like just this morning that the Leafs, like before this started, were like 2 points ahead of Ottawa, and now they're 23 points behind them in like a month.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's just impressive.
But like that's a crazy turnaround. Like
that's
potential story of the regardless of the hot takes behind it or the numbers behind it. Like,
yeah.
That's a huge NHL story.
If the Senators make the playoffs, like that's ridiculous.
It is. It's crazy. They were an afterthought.
They never should even have been in the conversation.
They weren't.
A month ago, they weren't in the conversation. So that's very impressive.
It
it's
is,
not.
It is very impressive.
Like, how do you work your way back into? They were like 8 points out. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now
again,
they're a point out with 2 games in hand or a game in hand. It's nuts.
It's either that or it's a move that'll get underrated just because it's Minnesota. But man, Dubnyk too.
Yeah.
Making that one change, I can't praise enough the Wild for just making that one change rather than blowing everything up.
Yeah.
Just being
And it looked like
identifying this is our problem.
It looked like the things were gonna blow up for a while, and they credit to them, they did it right.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Stupid Minnesota.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, the West. It almost makes it better that it's such a crazy race right now. Because if it was, it's great to make the playoffs for us. I'm not going to say, I'd rather not make the playoffs, whatever. But it's so fun to watch right now.
Well, it's playoffs right now. Essentially, every Jets game they're playing like it's playoff hockey.
It's crazy,
and you can tell.
It's like I legit for the first time this year, I think, because I admittedly swore off buying Jets tickets this year because like they did nothing in the offseason. This is stupid. They're going to be awful.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm actually looking to try to buy tickets. I was looking on their site. I was considering buying $170 tickets to that Blues game,
which would have been such a good game.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Because they all have been lately.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not like. Don't let me buy playoff tickets, please, because that's way too much money.
Hey, you're a grown man. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going with you.
Yeah. That's the thing. I know none of my friends would, so I
Yeah.
just buy both of them and be like, just come.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally something you would do.
It would be, because I want to go so bad, but I wouldn't want to go by myself.
Everybody would just be like, "No, it's too expensive for me." Like, fine, I'll buy your ticket. Just
Yeah.
come with me.
Don't let me do that.
Well, if you're gonna bring me,
Listeners, don't let me do that.
that's great.
All right. Next thing we got to talk about the NHL as a whole. Rule changes on the way. GM meetings were this week, and a couple interesting things came out of it. The most important of which, in my opinion, 3-on-3 overtime.
Which I will continue to take credit for.
You should. You haven't talked about this for a long time. They still need to confirm how it's going to happen, whether it's going to be like the AHL where they play a few minutes 4-on-4 and go 3-on-3, or they just start 3-on-3, or if they just do a minute of 3-on-3, which would be dumb in my opinion, because what's going to happen in a minute?
Yeah.
I think they should go to like a 7-minute river overtime, 3 minutes of 4-on-4, 4 minutes 3-on-3. Someone's going to score.
Yes.
It's just going to be straight up rushes back and forth. It'll be a gong show. Someone's going to
so excited for this.
It's so exciting. So the fact that they're even talking about it.
This gets rid of shootout?
No.
Oh.
The shootout's still an option, but like we've talked about a few times, having the 3-on-3 format in the AHL has drastically reduced shootouts in the AHL, like something like...
Because they would usually score.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
we
more.
talked about the percentages like 2 weeks ago.
Episodes ago. Go back, listen a couple episodes ago, and we talked about the actual percentages.
And then it was a large difference.
Yeah.
Very large difference.
So yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be fun.
Well, think about that Blues game on Thursday. Again, I would have much rather that ended in an overtime goal for the Jets than a shootout. Like, yeah, the shootout was still somewhat exciting because they won, but still, it just feels like such a buzzkill. And it's like,
Nothing
we
like
have to do this.
It has open play goals are just better.
yeah, it's just more entertaining. And it's that whole, oh, he shoots, he scores.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
go crazy. It's like that whole feeling rather than, oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Shot. Oh,
he saved it.
oh, yeah. Oh, he scored. Yay.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's a buzzkill.
I agree.
It's like going to commercial break in the last. It's like a 2-minute game in an NFL game when they go to commercial break. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's a reason it doesn't happen. So, it's the biggest complaint people have about basketball in the last 2 minutes when there's like 800 timeouts.
Ugh. Yeah.
So, yeah. Stop doing that. I'm glad. This is like, I know it's not finalized yet and the players have to accept it, but, finally.
Do the players not want it? Or
I think it's generally believed that they're going to accept it.
Nice. Okay, sweet.
It might mean a little bit more playing time, another chance of injury, but at least then if they score in overtime, it actually counts because shootout goals don't count for their stats.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, let that finally count, and I think they'll enjoy because it's just more entertainment, right? So, I mean, hopefully.
More goals to pad your stats, get more money.
What would you go with for Jets 3-on-3? Who would be the first three you'd put on the ice?
I would have Little, Perot, and Bufflin.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to match that. I think I'd have to have Wheeler out there just for his speed. I'd be afraid of putting Wheeler and Scheifele both out there because I feel like just both go.
Yeah.
But man, that'd be so sick too.
There's a lot of good combos.
Like just leave Buff out there for the full 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And just Wheeler and Scheifele and then Little and whoever and Little and Perot because Perot's got mad dangles.
So many dangles.
And then Ehlers gets here.
Lots of opportunities. And every team, when you break it down to three guys, every team has 3 amazing players at least.
Oh, totally.
So,
well, stupid hockey news rated the Jets like 28th in the league, which is dumb again because whatever.
I thought we were going to win the Stanley Cup in
2019, man.
I still haven't read that. That issue is sitting beside my bed. I'm going to read that tonight.
They're just all over. Like when people rate the Jets, they like always say, "Oh, they're not that good. They're not that good." And then they look at the things and they're like, "Wait, they're actually like the numbers," and they're like, "Wow, they're actually pretty good." Oh yeah, they're so good. They're so good. And then they just whenever they're rating anything, they would just throw them in the bottom until they actually look at it. Yeah. It's just like, admittedly, yeah, they're a bit of an afterthought because they don't have the flashy, sexy names, but still, like, they're better than 28th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're just so much speed and just dangles
and size.
Nice. Yeah, exactly.
They've got size now.
I think in 3-on-3, what do you think would be the important stuff in 3-on-3? Because I think speed would be the big thing on 3-on-3 because you've got to be able to miss an opportunity and get back.
There's so much open ice. It's got to be speed.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be so much more ice to work with.
Tyler Myers in a 3-on-3 would be helpful because he'd take up so much ice.
Yeah.
That's where Dennis Back will just splooge about his wingspan for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, just freak
going
out.
into every 3-on-3. Jets have such good. Look at that reach by Tyler Myers.
He actually gets an exemption from the NHL.
No way.
Because his stick is too
I
long.
haven't heard that every game.
The only other player who needs that is Zdeno Chara.
Oh.
Did you know?
He's going to be Zdeno Chara.
Yeah,
he
thanks.
is basically Zdeno Chara.
Thanks, Biak. That's really helpful.
He's actually been... Tyler Myers has played... He's got a bit of an offensive push. He's been really good with the Jets. Or at least good. So, hopefully that isn't just a short... Like, this Drew Stafford talk, getting really tired of it. Because, listen, yes... It's great. No, it does not mean the Jets have won that trade out of no. Like, it's an important pieces, and yes, full credit to Chevy for getting what he got for Vander Kane because they have made a huge difference.
Yep.
But you cannot say they've won that trade yet. It's 1 year. Unless they win the Stanley Cup, they haven't won that. Like, if the Jets go even 3 rounds deep, fine. You can almost start saying they won the trade. If they win the Cup, yes, they won the trade. Like, done. That's the goal, right? Yeah. Winning the Cup.
Yeah.
But until that happens, you still gave up Evander Kane.
And he's yet to show anything in Buffalo because he's injured. So you got to wait until you can see what he does there.
They've won the short-term aspect of
Obviously,
it.
yes.
Because you were going to no matter what.
Because you got real players.
Yes, you got guys who are going to play.
Yeah.
And Goshen's barely played in Buffalo because he's been hurt.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, you won the short term. But, again, Stafford could be gone next year. What if Myers rescinds back into what he was in Buffalo? Still a lot coming out. Maybe Joel Armia ends up being a superstar. Then, yeah, you won the trade as well.
Yep.
It still isn't decided. It's up in the air. But, regardless, I'm happy to see Stafford. I'm just worried about what's going to end up happening because, again, we've mentioned it before. Chevy's got a lot of decisions to make in this offseason.
A lot of contracts.
Furleek, Stepniak, Tlusty, Stafford. I maybe keeping 2 of them.
Maybe.
Who's going to go? I don't know. So I'd like... If Furleek and Stafford stay, great. If they end up costing you combined $40 million, not so great.
Yeah.
So... This hot streak's wonderful for Stafford, but I'm just curious as to what he's going to end up asking because of it. So, I don't know. If you can keep him or Furleek, I still say Furleek.
I'd take Furleek.
So,
you get way, like we know way more about Furleek than we do about Stafford.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. You just Stafford's still kind of he could still be good. He is a bit older, I think.
Has he even played
Buffalo.
like 20 games for the Jets yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like why that's ridiculous.
Because Joe, small sample sizes dictate everything.
Rule all.
It's what all the headlines are. It's what
true,
people end
actually.
up deciding. Look at again the Pavlik debate.
Yeah.
Small sample sizes. Another thing that was brought up at the GM meetings: potential of challenging goalie interference and maybe the puck over glass call, which again, finally. Something coming out of it, but Paul Maurice had some interesting thoughts on it. Just gonna read off what his quotes were, and I want you to respond to that because I actually really do like his take on all of this.
Okay.
It was brought up to him. Basically, to summarize it really quickly, he basically said, if you have time to do a coach's challenge, then why don't you just spend the time and just get the call right in the first place? Because then there's still going to be calls that are made wrong because the coach can't challenge it. Because the whole idea is they have to have a timeout. You only get one. Yeah. And all that stuff. So basically he said the decision is going to be made somewhere else regardless. It's not the coach that makes the challenge. Then sort of the ref says, okay, I think you're right. So they're going to work really hard to get it right somewhere. So why don't we just do that all the time? At the end of the day, if once a year Toronto's going to look at the video and make the decision it's goaltender interference or not, why does the coach throwing a flag have anything to do with it? Why don't we just make that call? If we can get it right, that way, and that's the right way, and that's the process we'll use to get it right, why can't we just do that?
Why can't we just get it right?
Because he basically said something along the lines of, by the time a coach throws that flag, they've already seen it in Toronto, and they already know what the right call is.
True.
So why do you not just buzz them and say, no,
yeah,
this is what it should be.
Or it is, or whatever, yeah.
Exactly, and then just have this rule, and again, the puck over glass. He said, and puck over glass, I can't tell most times. So the process goes upstairs to get it right, then why would we just do that all the time? Why do we need the coach to challenge the play?
That's the thing. We're watching... I really like that answer. I like Paul Maurice for the most part.
So logical.
He's a very logical man, and I respect that. I mean, just think about it. When you're sitting there watching your TV at home, you see even less than what the guys in Toronto and the guys upstairs can see.
Because they get both feeds.
They get everything. They can choose what feeds they want to watch. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Touchscreen, whatever. So if we at home can tell if the call is right or wrong within 10 seconds of it happening from instant replay, there's no reason why they can't immediately have the right call all the time.
Yeah.
So...
in a matter of seconds, a broadcast crew can get a replay done.
Exactly. So why would you like Paul Maurice said? Why wouldn't you just do that all the time? Then all your calls would be right.
Yeah.
But then you run into the whole what's the point of having the referee on the ice? All that
well, there's still a reason. Look at football. When in the NFL, the second a turnover, the second a scoring play happens, they review it.
Yeah.
That second, and most of the time you don't even notice. And if there's a problem, they buzz down to the ref. Look at soccer, goal line technology. Do you notice half the time?
Well, yeah. Most of the time, it's not an issue.
Yeah. But the one or two times it does, you don't have to think about it because you know they'll gonna buzz them if it went over the line.
It literally is a buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, the ref has like a little watch on with a vibrate thingy in it, and if the ball goes over the line, it buzzes.
Yeah. So for the 1 or 2 times a year that it's controversial and they have to take a second and look at it, fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, have someone look at it and say, okay, yeah, that's goalie interference. That's usually what it is. It takes 2 seconds to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gray rule, and there might be a couple issues here or there, but I'd rather majority of the calls be made quickly and properly than, and the 1 or 2 take a little bit of debate and a little bit of talk, and then they can provide an explanation right there from the league, rather than saying whatever they say now, oh, cannot make up our minds, or whatever the guy in the NHL, what does the ref say when it's inconclusive?
Inconclusive evidence, yeah.
Like, fine. Don't even need to make a scene of it. If it's inconclusive, you just don't say anything, and it's over. It's quick. Puck over glass. Sometimes they stand together in that huddle for like 5 minutes discussing it anyways. Go look at a replay. You'll know in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Then that whole thing's gone.
Literally, like, zoom in on the puck and see if it, like, tipped off the guy's stick or not.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
So, and even if they look at it, like, fans can only get so mad if they know a third party out in the middle of Toronto's looked at it already. I mean, people will still get mad because humans are unreasonable, but...
The NBA went backwards with that stuff because they opened their replay center this year, and now like there's so many more rules that they can look at, or different calls.
Yeah.
And they spend so much time looking at that monitor. It just is totally broken.
What kind of stuff do they look at?
Oh, goaltending, where people's feet are on like a 3-pointer and stuff
really?
like that, and whether like... It's just really slowing the game down. People thought it would be speedier because we got people looking at it in a different place, in a remote location like the NHL does, but it's like completely slowing it down. It's really tough.
Do the refs look at things most of the time? Or
like we got people looking at it in somewhere in New Jersey. And then what people don't understand, I don't even understand, is that like what are the people actually looking at in New Jersey? Because the people, like the refs still have to look at a monitor during the game.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Because I think I've heard before that the NHL's right now kind of... And this is one thing, again, not yay hockey, but the NHL apparently is like the top notch for that kind of stuff because it is all done externally and the refs don't have a monitor to look at. Because that's what I always think of when I think the NBA is they always turn around that stupid TV screen.
Oh, it's awful.
And they're watching it for like 20 minutes.
It's one of the biggest problems in the game right now. It's awful.
Whereas, in the NHL, it's like a buzz and they... It goes straight to Toronto, and they just get a phone in here from what Toronto says. Like, the refs don't look at it.
Absolutely, that's what it should be. It should be really, really quick.
But again, like I do agree with, like, you don't want to add too much instantly, because if you're looking at every call, then again, what's the point of even having refs?
Yeah. Exactly, right? It becomes more...
It's basically you just have security guards skating around. They don't need to know anything about hockey.
Yeah. Someone to get in the middle of them, so when they decide to start punching each other in the face, it doesn't happen that quickly, and dropping the puck.
Yeah. Which,
again, with technology, eventually be shooting up out of the ice or something. Yeah. Dropping from the ceilings.
Yes.
So... And then having fucking, was it Nathan McKinnon in that video, or just catching pucks from the ceiling? Yeah. Anyways, like it's a good perspective where you don't want to go too far because then you are stuck looking forever, or you have like 100 different people in Toronto watching every game, which is obviously going to cost a lot of money to do. Mm-hmm. But I do think adding it for rules like this where it's so often an issue. Even today, Justin Abelkader scored an overtime winner with a broken stick, which is illegal.
Oh, yeah.
But they can't review it, and the refs either just decided not to call it or missed because apparently the ref was looking right at him. 2 seconds, that call's reversed, that game keeps going.
Yeah.
So...
That's a good example.
Get that call right.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes 2 seconds to look at.
Get it right.
And then all this controversy's gone.
Yep. No more hot takes.
Win-win.
So many less hot takes.
So yeah, do it. It's great, but I still think the NHL needs to fix their fucking point system first.
Yeah.
God, it's so dumb. They need to go to a 3-point system. It's that simple.
Yep.
And I know people argue, like, it wouldn't change the standings that much. Teams play differently in those situations, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
If you know you could get to a spot, they play to get to that spot to get the point.
Absolutely.
If you know that it's worth a lot more, or a team needs more points to win, they're obviously going to start, pulling their goaltenders, potentially when the game's tied, because they know they lose a point instantly if they don't get the points.
Yeah.
They'll push a lot harder. They're not going to play for a tie because they're going to get at least a point.
Totally change score effects.
Yeah.
So
it would change a lot.
Yeah.
So, change your fucking point system, NHL. It's stupid. There was one other proposal that apparently was whispered about that I don't think nearly enough people are talking about that I thought was really cool. This is from Elliot Friedman, and it was a potential change to the All-Star format that the NHL has identified as a problem because the All-Star game was a shit show this year. It was like awful this year. I didn't watch it, which again is part of why it was so awful.
Yeah.
Because nobody watches it. And apparently there was a proposal to have all your players, divide them into 10 teams, and pretty much have a March Madness-like bracket where teams play, I guess, 3-on-3 against each other.
Sweet.
And then they crown a winner out of that. So it's just, you have all your all-stars.
That would be so cool.
That would be so cool.
Ah.
It would be shortened games, so you could like have an all-day event of them just playing each other.
There's so many,
Obviously, the issue right there is goaltenders, because then you're going to have 10 all-star goaltenders, which is a bit of a problem.
You could play post.
You already have 6, though.
Yeah.
So add a few more
yeah.
and just go from there. Or throw a shooter-tutor in there, who cares?
Yeah.
But I think would be really cool, because the NHL still has their whole, we got to include every team and all that crap. And if you're going to do that, and it's going to be stupid all-star stuff anyways, instead, why don't you have each team nominate 3 players and a goalie? And then just have a mini tournament over that weekend. Still have your voting, and have the Saturday night be like the still class, like skills competition with the guys that were voted in. So you don't have to worry about including rookies and all that crap, because teams send 3 players that either volunteer to go, or
the team chooses
chooses to go. Have some sort of cash benefit for the team that wins, or have some sort of cool benefit for the team that wins, bragging rights, and just have them play a little tournament.
That'd be cool. There's so many different things that you can do with an all-star weekend, because I mean, unfortunately, a lot of them have gotten to the point where it is just kind of a joke already. So, and then people
Just have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. People are like not wanting to admit that and take it to the next level where you start to have fun with it. And so they're stuck into that in-between zone where it's still formal, yet people think it's a joke, and it's like just clashes.
Because make it a little tournament. Each team has their 3 reps and their goalie.
Yeah.
You could still have the whole, oh yay, rah, 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 every team's got a thing. You want to create storylines. In every city, they're going to be talking about who should we send?
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
So
Who's
true.
going to be the winners?
Yeah.
Should we send a captain? Maybe it could create, GMs and owners might not go for it because they're going to create controversy, possibly, of whoever gets sent. I don't think players really care that much. Start it on Friday night. Play Friday, Saturday afternoon to fill some time, and then a couple games on Sunday, have your final on Sunday night. Each game's like, 10 minutes long, max?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't need to be a lot. 3 5-minute periods, 3-on-3 hockey.
Yeah.
Players still don't have to care that much, but maybe care a little bit more in the final. Give them each a car, so you're still giving away cars.
Because, why not?
Don't have Alex Ovechkin begging for a car. Say, earn it. Go earn it. Win the tournament with your 3 players.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be. Even then, Buffalo could still win something.
Yes. Very true.
You want to solve tanking? Winner of that tournament, first overall pick.
Oh, yes.
That would be cool.
Oh, my goodness.
Unfair, because the best team, that never happened.
Never would ever
That
happen.
would be cool,
But
though.
that would be unreal.
Send your actual good players, win the first overall
That would
pick.
so not ever happen in a million
Or,
years.
bump your chances of winning the draft by 5%.
Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit more realistic. But
Give yourself an extra percentage if you win that.
Yeah.
That'll stop teams from tanking a little bit, maybe. Or make it something that players want to win.
Yeah.
Teams actually want to send their best players. You don't have Sidney Crosby not showing up.
yeah. Classic Crosby.
There you go.
I'm injured.
Make it worth something.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
That's a great idea. I would watch that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be
I
so
would for
cool.
sure watch
You would get
that.
a lot of neutrals, I think, yeah.
And I really like the idea of because we would definitely talk about who we're going to send.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a huge talking point in each city, each fan
Which
base.
goalie should be sent?
Exactly. That's great. That would get people talking. Right?
It'd be so cool. And then even if you send your backup, it's still, okay, you didn't want your starter getting hurt, but you still have a goalie gone.
And do you guys do all NHL teams at the end of the year?
They
at
sent
all?
a first team and a second team.
Okay.
Which was hilarious because that was where Ovechkin was voted first team right and left wing.
Oh, really?
Even though he only played one of the sides for 2
Oh,
games.
wow.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
a
what
that's
I'm-
the show.
That's the hockey writers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just thinking as far as prestigious stuff and legacy when it comes down to getting in the Hall of Fame and stuff, do people consider all-stars in
In the NHL, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They're
again,
implicit
Hockey
standards,
Abstract.
yeah.
Hockey Abstract did in their first chapter was all about how you get in the Hall of Fame, and
Yeah.
all-star voting was one of the biggest things.
Oh,
that
okay,
people
so it does
respected.
matter then.
But yeah, it's implicit
again-
standards, and nobody actually knows what gets considered when inducting into
Right.
the Hall of
But
Fame.
again, that's considering all of history when the All-Star game.
But if you
actually
think
meant
about it,
something.
all of
Exactly.
the best players are gonna have a ton of All-Star games played, right? So it just makes sense that they would be in the Hall of Fame.
You're still going to get that. You just have a better chance of being voted to it or picked to it, and then at least means something because it's your team sending you, right? And if you make it worth something, your best players are going to be sent. Like, I think that'd be cool. If you have all 30 teams, send your best players, we'll have a little tournament. GMs might have an issue with it, coaches might have an issue with it if guys are actually trying, but suck it up.
Yeah.
You want to sacrifice, you don't want your best player getting hurt for this year? Fine. Sacrifice a potential 2% bump in your draft pick. It's your choice.
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres going to go all out. Still probably lose.
Whatever.
But they're going to try.
They're going to try.
And at least then their fans have something to cheer about and be excited for.
Yep.
The home city, you can imagine the entire arena is going to be cheering for their home city in that tournament. It'd be cool.
That'd be actually really cool to go and watch that.
It would be. It'd be something for people to actually want to go see.
That would be a real good way to showcase the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3-on-3.
Yeah.
The best part of overtime. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. Even if they didn't go with the whole team thing, but just having it that format anyways, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it would get the ratings that the TV people are looking for.
I think so too. I would watch it, and then it's not just one game; it's multiple
in my
throughout
opinion,
the day.
you got to do something to break down this barrier of formalized game and people who think it's a joke. Because I think it's a big issue right now where there's a ton of people who are just like, this is ridiculous, and then there's all the NHL who is like, we're still going to take this somewhat seriously.
Well, it's entertaining for the kids, right?
By having
it's
a
for
formal
kids.
game, yeah.
But like, are you kidding? If NHL All-Star Weekend ended up being a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday where it was all hockey the entire time because one matchup was going on the entire weekend, is that not going to be good for your game?
Yeah.
Where on a Friday night, some drunk son of a bitch in Texas throws on NHL 3-on-3 hockey because nothing else is on because he's drunk as hell and sees that for the first time, is that not going to be like, wow, this is cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that the point? You want to make money. That's how you get random fans to watch.
Yep.
By it being the only...
By doing something different.
You know why curling is watched so much over the curling weekends? Because it's all that's on TSN all day.
So true.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, is it ever?
Exactly. You notice it. So if you're going and scrolling through your guide and all you see is NHL All-Star Tournament for a full 3 days,
that's all
you're gonna eventually gonna click on it.
Yeah.
If it's on 5 feeds of the same game, you're gonna end up watching it.
So true. I've definitely watched curling just because it's the only thing on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even people who literally don't care about curling. More people on that Saturday night when curling was going on, millions of people watched that, and like nobody watched the Leaf game. Because the Leafs do suck, but because it was on the whole time.
Yeah. Might as well watch the curling for a bit.
This is more entertaining than the Leafs.
We know what's going to happen in the Leaf game.
Exactly.
Who knows how this curling game's going to end?
Exactly. So, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I know there's a lot of issues with it. I think it'd be cool. If you think it'll be cool...
There's a lot of issues with how they do it now.
Oh, exactly.
So, I mean,
if you think it'd be cool, tweet us at JetStreamPod, #JetStream. Send us an email, JetStreamPodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you think that's cool, if you think you can fix some of those problems.
Yeah.
If you think this idea would be awesome. I like Friedman tweeted out this starting point of it, and obviously it's been mentioned in the NHL, but I think that would be sick. Tweet it at people. Get people to talk about it. Make it happen, people. Listeners, we're counting on you. Make this happen. It needs to be more than just me, because no one listens to me. Except for you guys. Appreciate that.
You mean like me and Joe, or like the people actually listening?
Well, people who are actually taking time out of their day for some reason to listen to us banter about...
Pat yourself on the back if you're listening right now.
Yeah, because it's got us, like, what is wrong with
Whether
you?
you're out for a walk on the bus working out, just take the time right now.
Just pat yourself,
pat yourself on the back for listening to Travis.
Stop whatever you're doing. Say, self, I'm great. And pat yourself on the back. Do it.
We'll give you a second.
You done?
And then take a picture of yourself doing it and tweet us at the JetStream
Pod. We want your back patting selfies.
Oh, God.
Please.
That would actually be so funny.
And tweet it at JW_Clark20 so his phone blows up. And he gets, I want every one of our subscribers, all however many of you there are, tweet your back patting selfie to at JW_Clark20. And I want it to be the busiest Twitter week of Joe's life.
Oh my goodness.
And Joe, I want you to retweet every one of them.
I'll do it. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Please do.
You're going to lose so many followers.
Those are the people you don't want following you, Joe.
Okay.
If they can't appreciate a good back pat selfie, they don't belong on your Twitter feed.
I wouldn't even want them following me anyways.
Yeah. Screw them.
Yep.
So do it, everybody. Clean up Joe's Twitter following.
Yeah.
On a much more somber note, we're going to talk about our last topic before we get to our regular segments. Matthew Wuest, I don't really know how to say his last name. Anyways, the founder of GapGeek passed away this week. He had cancer, colon cancer, I believe. And yeah, he passed away this week, which is obviously a pretty big loss. Not a lot of people actually know him. I didn't know him. I never really even talked to him, but he created a site that I think really, well, it was the kind of biggest blogging site, I guess you could say. I don't know, he didn't do a lot of blogging, but it was one of the most informative sites the NHL fans had access to. GapGeek.
Fans and media.
Yeah. It was referenced on TSN all the time. James Merle wrote a good article about his experiences with Matthew. Big loss to the hockey community. His brother tweeted out Matthew wouldn't necessarily be a kind of guy to go out and talk about a lot of things. But he tweeted out, I had the link here and I can't find it. Tweeted out a link that he said, if anything, Matthew just would want people to donate. So if you do feel like you want to do so, it was for a colon cancer website. I retweeted it. I'll try to find it and retweet it again later. But yeah. Final thank you to Matthew for everything you did for the hockey community. Hopefully the NHL, a lot of people are talking about how they hope the NHL eventually does do something like GapGeek again and maybe name it after him because he was the one who did a lot of this work. And I think he kind of set the standard for what hockey blogging sites should look like and how they should run. GapGeek he never really looked to make a lot of money off GapGeek. He could have sold that website for millions of dollars probably. He made the little bit of money he did off of advertising for it, but other than that, he kept trying. He had standards he wanted to keep to the point where he didn't want to sell it to somebody when he knew he couldn't run it anymore. So unfortunately, it's gone, but thanks, Matthew, for all the information that I wish I still had.
Yep.
It's offline now.
It's gone now, unfortunately.
It was revolutionary.
It was huge.
I was completely jealous of it as an NBA fan.
Yeah. It was one of a kind.
Extremely well laid out, beautiful, easy to understand.
Yeah.
Like every time you guys forced me to go look at this thing, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it's so easy to understand.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was a site that I don't know exactly where Matthew got his start from, but from all I know, he was a fan.
Yeah.
And he had a few connections, and he worked them into great relationships with people, and he got information on salaries that insiders couldn't get. Mm-hmm. So whatever he did it well. And I think that's why he didn't want to move it on, because he didn't want it to tarnish. He didn't want it to fall apart. He wanted to stay his vision of it, and he did great work with it. So I hope that's now forgotten by people. I hope GapGeek goes down in history. It's a great site.
I think it will.
Back on the happy note, because we like being happy here. JetStream Podcast. Joe, do you have a great team of the week for us?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe's great team of the week.
And if I could... Well, I guess I could. I can do whatever I want. But I feel like it would be cheating if I gave it to the Ottawa Senators 2 weeks in a row. I thought about it. I really wanted to do it. Because, I mean...
Honorable mention. How about that?
That is the story in the NHL right now. Is the Ottawa Senators. It was last week. Still is this week. Honorable mention to the Ottawa Senators. But I'm going to give it to the Canucks this week. Not necessarily a great week by them. They won 2 of 3. They've lost a couple in between before that, but they had a big win, taking all the points away from the Kings on Saturday night, which is massive for the Jets. So that's why.
It's kind of like a thanks, guys.
Yeah, this is my formal thank you. You get a great team of the week nomination.
Hey, we're Jets fans first, right?
Because we're Jets fans first, and you guys gave us a really big hand, and you can help us even more on Tuesday night on the second game of a back-to-back. After the Jets go to Edmonton, they go to Vancouver. And feel free to just lose that one. That'd be great. Thank you.
We'd appreciate it, boys.
Formal request from Jets fans.
Formal request from the city that used to host.
Yeah, we used to have your AHL team. You know, I supported your
favor.
Yeah, hey, I spent a lot of money on your prospects.
Probably more money than Joe's ever spent on any sport thing ever.
Not fishing, probably is.
Okay, professional sport thing,
yeah.
Like that you're just watched, not like partook in necessarily.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad the AHL's back. So glad.
But yeah, I spent a lot of money helping develop your prospects, so lose.
Yeah.
For me.
You're welcome for Alex Burrows, pricks.
Yeah, and Kessler, and he's gone now.
Well, no, Burrows was straight up like, the Moose found him.
Yeah.
And brought him up, and they took him.
And I would say Schneider, but that's awkward now, so.
Yeah.
We'll forget about that.
All right.
I still have his bobblehead in my room.
Yeah, so do I. And Mike Keane and Nolan Baumgartner.
Freaking Nolan Baumgartner. What happened to that guy?
Great name.
I hope they bring that back.
Great name.
Bobblehead night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still do it with the Jets.
Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it for sure. I gotta increase my bobblehead collection.
Yeah, we do. God, I want to know what they're going to name them.
It's
$20 average tickets.
I know.
It's great.
So dusty, though. His Corey Schneider's got a thick layer of dust on him. I had to dust him off.
Yeah, Joe cleaned his room
I
today.
cleaned my room.
Set up his whole
spotless. Including Corey Schneider's head.
Yeah. That's so weird. Other than that, what did we learn this week, fellas? Who wants to go first?
Oh,
Neil, Joe,
yeah,
Joe,
go ahead, Neil.
Neil, go first.
Yeah, sure. Well, like you guys have been talking about Ottawa for a while. Well, the past 2 weeks at least. But I honestly did not know to the extent that this Andrew Hammond guy has been what he's been doing. And how much hamburgers and McDonald's have gotten involved.
Oh, yeah.
It's big.
So, as I would suspect, and anybody who's on Reddit would suspect, this is like the biggest thing. And there's a few amazing pictures that people have made. So there's a logo here on our screen here of the Hamburglar Ottawa Senators logo.
That's pretty excellent.
That's sweet.
And this was what I was doing most of the episode because I didn't understand to the extent, again, how much this has happened. And then this picture of Andrew Hammond holding the hamburger after a win.
Oh, yeah.
And then this, Curtis Lazar eating it after the game. And then there's even more stuff. When they beat the Maple Leafs on Saturday, anybody who went to the game could bring a ticket to the McDonald's today and get a free hamburger.
A free Big Mac. Not just a burger.
Right, because they have that Big Mac minute or whatever, and they scored in the last minute of the game, which is amazing. So they get a hamburger and a Big Mac.
Yep.
And even on top of that, Andrew Hammond now gets a lifetime free dinner.
At McDonald's. McDonald's has jumped all over this.
They did, and good on them because this is amazing. This is somebody like a guy that's not a big hockey fan like me that just loves seeing this stuff. It's so funny, and now people are just throwing hamburgers on the ice. And
they also had a giveaway before this game where they gave away Hamburglar masks.
That's incredible. Everybody. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love things like this, like just little memes that kind of go a little wild. But what is he? 13-0-1 in his starts.
Something crazy. Something like that. He's lost like one game, so
that's incredible. Are they in the playoffs now?
Almost.
They're right there. They're right behind Boston right now, which is crazy.
That's amazing. So yeah, I knew about it kind of from what you guys were saying, but the more I read into it, I had no idea how big it got with the hamburger stuff.
He's 13-0-3, 13-0, 1 overtime loss and 2 shootout losses. 947 save percentage.
Wow, damn.
Just killing it.
Yep. It's insane.
It is.
Out of nowhere. Sometimes it's just how things work for lovely human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
I just sent something to you, Neil.
I could look
last minute.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Save. This is just an unreal goal that I saw earlier.
Waiter. Nothing's coming, Joe.
Oh, okay. Well, here, Travis, you go first.
Okay. I learned this week. Have you guys ever heard of the CWHL?
No.
Canadian
Women's
Hockey League?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I learned this week that they took a step towards becoming a lot more recognizable and a lot more prolific as a professional sports league. They've taken small steps throughout the years. They had an all-star game at the ACC this year. They're getting talked about a little bit more. Sportsnet's kind of picked up on them a little bit, just giving them a bit of a break. But I think they made their first really big move this week in officially signing to an agreement with the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Stars are obviously Montreal's CWHL team. They have a partnership with the Montreal Canadiens, which is fantastic. A lot of people have been saying the NHL should at least help them out with getting things going. I mean, the AHL is thriving in my opinion, because of their arrangement with the NHL.
Yeah.
So why not do it with like a WNBA with the NBA? Give them something to start with. So there's at least one team now that has an arrangement with the NHL, and it is the Montreal Stars. There's talks that they're going to have a full redesign, which I'm assuming is going to include a name change because there are the Dallas Stars, and I don't think Montreal would want their team name or their partners named after something else, and probably a new logo and things like that, which is great because personally, CWHL jerseys could use a little work. They're not that fancy. But I do enjoy watching women's hockey whenever it's on. Like, I watch the All-Star game. Obviously, the Olympics is, like, top-notch stuff. I haven't been able to watch a lot of the club stuff, obviously, because it's not
really
on
televised,
time.
yeah.
Exactly. But women's hockey's, I've always found it very entertaining because it's not necessarily, like, you can't, it's not contact, right? It's not full contact. So it's a lot more puck play and dangles and
so many dangles.
Sweet move.
Yeah.
I love watching that. It's like, I don't know, it's cool to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is obviously great for them. I don't know, again, all the ins and outs, but it can help them with some of the more expensive costs. Obviously, the Habs have a lot of money, so things like travel costs, new uniforms, equipment costs, things that these women are usually paying out of pocket for.
Yeah.
They can actually get covered. So it'd be interesting to see if, I mean, there's a team in Toronto, there's a team in Boston, I think there's a team in Chicago. There's other teams in the GTA, so maybe if they start signing on with different NHL teams, and at least, I mean, it looks good for the NHL, helps promote the game to women, helps promote the game to girls.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's what I learned this week, so I'm happy to see it. I hope it keeps happening.
Yeah, that's good.
That is awesome. That's very cool.
Maybe get him included in the All-Star game at some point, like the NBA does with the WNBA. It's not a huge thing, but
Oh, the shooting stars. That's one of my favorite events.
Cool. Like,
yeah.
it's not-
Exposure, yeah.
exactly.
And some of the girls even play in the celebrity game too, and just own guys. Yeah, it's awesome.
Have you gotten Joe's thing yet?
No, I haven't,
Oh,
man.
that's awkward.
Okay, Joe, or let me Google it, see if I can
That's-
find it.
That's the worst.
Whose goal is it, Joe?
It's Nick Baptiste of the Erie Otters. Shorthanded goal.
Erie Otters. I get like these. It's an AHL team, right?
No, that's CHL. Like,
CHL?
Yeah, it's juniors.
I'm pretty sure the NHL has the worst team names out of any league.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
all
They're so
these-
boring.
All these amateur leagues.
Yeah, they're all the best.
or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Semi-pro leagues, whatever.
The, juniors and,
Sure.
everything else in between, like the ECHL, obviously.
Incredible.
Yeah, unreal names.
I spent most of the last episode looking at those team names and logos.
Oh, man, just unreal. Like, the NHL ones are too safe.
That's
the
true.
thing.
It's probably a whole marketing
Yeah.
PR thing.
Yeah, exactly. They can't go too overboard because
Exactly.
you got to be inclusive and whatever, right? But they are safe. Can you find it? No.
No.
All right.
Was it on the score?
No, it was a GIF.
Oh, God, I'm never going to find that.
All right, then.
Well, hopefully it gets into Neil. We'll do the spelling bee first. If it doesn't happen, then Joe just loses.
All right, well, that's unfortunate because it was a really sweet goal.
Wah, wah, wah.
Shucks, I really wanted to share that with everyone.
It's the SPELLINGB. Gotta remember I before E, except after C. Da 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 da. It's the spelling bee.
Guess that's what happens when we record live and don't cut things, right?
Yeah. This is probably actually our first, like, really obvious one. That's,
Yeah. Other than that one time I screwed up the opening.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Anyways, spelling bee for this week. You can change it up a little bit and go away from hockey.
Neil's got a chance.
Neil has a chance. I'm giving him.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
giving Neil an advantage.
I like it, Joe. I
An
like
advantage
it.
this week. Still not an easy one. Still not an easy one. This is gonna be, and I'm going off of. I'm not a college basketball aficionado.
I still got a shot.
Aficionado in any way. So I'm going off just from what I hear of people how people pronounce this name. This is not even close to how I would even try to pronounce it, but this is how I've heard it pronounced by pundits and whatever.
Oh, you went with the one I mentioned yesterday, didn't you?
This name.
You fuck.
The name that I'm going for is he's known as Coach K.
Yeah, I knew it.
But
yes.
the actual name,
Oh, fuck.
even though he's called Coach K, his last name apparently is pronounced Krzyzewski.
Nice, good pronunciation.
That is pretty good, Joe.
I don't know how you get K out of that. but
COACHK.
Coach K. So there's your first. I guess I give you one clue. Coach Mike Krzyzewski, winningest coach in
I've never typed, wrote, or anything of this. It's one of those things.
It's not
where
an
like,
easy one.
Not bothered.
No? Well, because why would you? Because you hear it.
Because it's stupid.
Yeah. Winningest coach in the history of the NCAA tournament.
Guess how old he is.
50-something, 60-something? I don't know. What?
You have get a good guess. Travis, I want to know what you guessed.
61.
How old he is?
Yeah,
I want to say he's like 70-something, isn't he?
he's 68.
Oh, wow.
Actually, you know what? He might. Yeah, no, he's 68. And then like all these college coaches that look. Maybe I'm just a bad judgment of age, but they all look younger than they are.
Well, he doesn't even have gray hair, does he? I thought he had.
Well, they're around.
Well, that guy
college
dyes
guys
his
all the time.
okay,
his
there you
hair
go.
for sure.
For sure.
Well, I'm googling college coaches, and I got to do this.
Hey.
Matt, this is so hard.
Mike Krzyzewski, and
I know I didn't
starts
know
with a
this
K.
right.
So that's just
Shut-
ridiculous.
I also know that sound doesn't exist.
What?
Krzyzewski.
Krzyzewski,
There's
yeah.
no F or V or anything in there.
Nope.
It's bullshit.
Oh my god.
I wish I never even said this to you yesterday.
This is so embarrassing. Okay, Mike, M-I-K-E, K. That's it. Z.
Okay, wait, sorry. KZ, you said?
K-Z.
Okay.
C-H-E.
C-H-E.
C-H-E. S-K-Y.
Okay.
Oh, God.
We saw it yesterday, so I know the first 3 letters.
Okay, give me. What do you got?
Mike, M-I-K-E. Krzyzewski. K-R-Z.
Yeah, I forgot the fucking R. I'm a dumbass.
Y-E-W-S-K-Y.
Actually, it's so fun to hear you guys say the letters because you just know.
No, it's not
You just
right.
know that you're guessing, and it's just fantastic. I would not even get close. I honestly don't think any human would be able to get this if you didn't actually have it memorized.
Yeah.
Both of you were not even close to remotely right. The correct spelling of Mike Krzyzewski is K-R-Z-Y Z-E-W-S-K-I.
Fuck that.
You know what? Now that I'm staring at it, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Like, I have a feeling
Well,
I'm
it makes
never-
no sense how you pronounce it.
I'm never going to forget it now. Test
yeah.
me in this in like a year or something.
Okay, I'll see if I can remember.
Because, like, how would you phonetically pronounce that? Krzyzewski?
Yeah, Krzyzewski probably. Krzyzewski.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski.
Mike Krzyzewski.
Krzyzewski?
Anyways.
Yeah, he's 68 years old. Like, man, he's looking good.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So yeah.
Whatever products he's using with his hair,
Yeah.
it's working, man.
It's all still there. So.
Yeah, whatever product he uses, they should like sign him up for some sort of sponsorship deal.
Yeah,
There's enough
without a doubt.
sponsorships in college basketball.
That's
Sorry?
so true.
There's enough
Is he
sponsorships.
still? Sorry, I don't know anything. Is he still the coach?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Duke's just good. Neil, did you see, what was it on? It's on some HBO show, but the Score posted it. It's like a 20-something minute rant a guy goes on. Oh, frick.
It sounds
I can't remember
amazing
it.
already.
It's
You got my
just
attention.
talking about how ridiculous it is that college basketball players don't get paid.
Yeah.
And he talks about like the money behind it and the coaches getting paid so much money and just
Yeah.
the lifestyle they have to live. It's crazy. I retweeted it a while ago, but I'll try to remember to find it again and tweet it out from the JetStream account. But man, it's like I feel almost bad how much I love watching college basketball knowing this, but at the same time it's like I'm not going to stop watching it, so
No, it's
Gotta take the moral high road, Travis.
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, if anyone ever asked me to speak out against it, I would.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
also
gonna stop watching.
Not gonna stop watching it. It's like wearing branded clothes. I still wear Nike clothes. I know how terrible they're made, but I should probably do something.
I'm gonna take a moral stand and not watch any college basketball.
So you're never gonna start,
Correct.
except for when you happen to be around my house and I just put it on because you
Yeah.
have no choice.
Yeah, pretty much.
there's been a lot of great pieces lately about that whole college thing.
Isn't Northwestern like? Did
Yeah,
they try to unionize?
their football team unionized, and that's that caused a big. I guess it's a
Hoorah.
big. It's a big talking point now.
It's more than just basketball. It's like every college sport. Well, every major college sport where the universities make like it's crazy. I mean, one of the big points that really just like that's so irritating is colleges or most of them are except for I think Duke is a private institution, so they aren't government funded. I think that's how it works. But all they're government places, right? So they can't make profits. So they bring in a buttload of money and then just spend it on shit for the school. They give the coaches higher pay. They make their locker rooms just unbelievable. That's why like 4 of the largest stadiums in the States are college university stadiums because they have nothing else to. They have to spend this money.
Yeah.
They can't pull in a profit. So they just spend exorbitant amounts of money on crap. And meanwhile, their players who are making them all this money are just struggling. And who was it? There was a player that he had on this clip, and there was one day he said he showed up to practice, and his mom's electricity was getting shut off. And he's like, he had a bad practice because this was driving him crazy. And at one point, his coach just started screaming. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" Blah blah blah. And he's like sitting there thinking about that. This guy making millions of dollars to coach me is yelling at me because I'm not mentally in the game, because I'm not getting any money and my mom's electricity is getting shut off. And he's like, I just felt like turning around saying, that's what's wrong with me, you fucking prick.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. Like you hear all these great stories of, oh yeah, these guys get out of these terrible neighborhoods and all this stuff. It's like, well, they don't make any money unless they make the pros. And most of them are spending so much time playing their sport, they can't get an actual education out of it. And as soon as they stop playing the sport, their funding's gone, so they can't afford to keep going to school. And they're forced to take shitty courses because they don't have the time to take actual courses because they're in practice all the time.
Yep.
It's frustrating.
There's a really good piece by Brian Phillips on Grantland about all of this and how basically this March Madness tournament makes a huge percentage of
billions of dollars.
The NCAA's profit that goes towards every program in the country. It's basically this and the BCS championships, like for football, that support every sport and every athlete. And it's just crazy the kind of how they still spin it where they are still student athletes, but they're the biggest part of this entertainment industry. Yeah. Like at the same time.
They're student athletes until they get hurt and lose their scholarship, then fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. It's it's a very interesting talking point.
Yeah.
And it should be talked about.
Yeah. It should be brought up. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to stop supporting it, but it's funny because, again, the start of this piece, I really wish I could remember what it was, but the start of this piece, the guy's like, even in this college, in the March Madness room, even the fucking cutting of the net is sponsored.
Oh, is it?
By Werner, the ladder company.
Oh my god.
It's like, Jesus.
By the ladder company.
It's insane. But yeah, like, it sucks. Like, it's brutal.
Was it John Oliver?
It might have been. I'm worst for celebrity names. He has some HBO week.
Oh yeah, that's
weekly
John Oliver.
news.
Yeah,
John Oliver.
because
Yeah, John Oliver.
That's the one that's been blowing up, and Jalen Rose was on it.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, I know what.
Yeah, it was John Oliver.
Jalen Rose was talking about the whole lights off thing.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I mean, his team, the whole Fab Five thing, really kind of started this entire that was the first time the whole country kind of got crazy over one team, and since then, I mean, the March Madness and stuff has gotten just bonkers. But yeah,
it was on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Go look it up. Just Google John Oliver, and it's the first thing that came up in the news.
It's probably the most popular thing he's ever done.
Yeah, just search John Oliver. Even if you search March Madness, it'll be the first thing. Yeah, first thing that pops up. So it's it's 20 minutes, 21 minutes. Watch the whole thing. I was just gonna watch it quickly and be like, oh, it's really long. I'll watch the first little bit, and I was glued.
Yeah. John Oliver is great.
It was really good.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, watch it. It is comedy, but at the same time, it was this is serious. These guys get boned.
Yeah,
not cool, guys. Way to end it on a high road, Travis.
Yeah.
Great high note there. But yeah, this is a good high note.
Yeah, it's better.
This is good stuff.
How did we ever end podcasts before this music?
It was the same as our opening, kind of, which tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, but we would never hear the music because I would have to put it in post-edit.
That's true.
And we would never know.
Yeah, this is so much better.
This makes me leave happy every time.
On Reddit, there's some guys in India made a Seinfeld thing. Go watch it. It's so funny.
Hold on, let me grab my phone before you start.
Actually, look that up right now.
What?
Just search India comedian Seinfeld scene. It's so funny. It's all over Reddit. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of us, and don't forget, take your pat on the back selfies and send them to @JW_Clark20. That's Joe's Twitter handle. And if you have characters left in whatever you're saying, also send it to us, JetStreamPod, @JetStreamPod on Twitter, #JetStream. Check out the website, www.jetstreampodcast.com. Send us an email, jetstreampodcast@gmail.com. Thank you again to Andrew Campbell at Victory4201 for the coffee funds.
Thanks, buddy.
It is more than enough to buy one round of coffee, so I guess he's our official coffee sponsor for the next month, which is fantastic.
Fueled by Andrew Campbell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jetstream Podcast Coffee, fueled by Andrew Campbell. Excellent.
First ever sponsor.
Woo! Yeah. A round of applause for our first ever sponsor.
Yeah. Even though you didn't ask to sponsor us, but we're gonna just take it anyways.
Yeah. Do we have to put his name on something?
I don't know, maybe.
We'll just mention his name.
Send us a picture of your face, we'll put it right here.
He's gotten enough shout-outs in 60 minutes.
We'll mention your name 3 times an episode for the next month.
There you go.
But yeah, get a hold of me on Twitter at THRUVENIUK. Joe, again, on Twitter at JW_Clark20. Send him his back pat selfies, please. For being great people and listening to JetStream
That's
Podcast.
like a tongue twister. Back pat selfies, please. Backpack selfie, please.
Yeah, jeez. Neil on Twitter at Neil Noonan, NEILNONAN. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes. Please check out ArcticIceHockey.com for all the links to all our stuff. Thanks for listening, guys.
Oh, you didn't say go Jets go.
Whatever, I needed to get it done.
Yeah, you were